I'm here with Scott McKinsey. We're in Millsap, Texas. And you have started up, you've thrown one of these Challenger Series shows, a club show.
Yeah, here at this location. This is Jason and Susie Reed's ranch here in Mineral Wells. And we're training here from this facility. And as kind of Jason goes, man, I'd like to have somebody come in and put on some little shows and stuff. And this has worked out pretty well.
And why is there a need for a club? We're in the hotbed of cutting, of NCHA top level cutting, right?
Yeah.
And so many have thrown, there has been club shows here in the past, there hasn't been for a couple of years. Why do we need a club show here?
Well, whether it's here or anywhere else, there's always going to be new people starting, and you really need to have a place where they can start. Takes a little bit of the pressure off, but they can start here, and it's with.
Do you think it takes the pressure off because it's just not a fancy environment like Silverado, maybe a little less financial pressure?
Yeah, the financial pressure is going to be part of that. Also, just hey, I can come here and you can view it as a practice show. And there's a lot of people that you always need somewhere to go work a horse and get young horses seasoned or something that maybe just needs a little bit more out showing. So it kind of takes some of the financial burden away from the owner as well. So I think that helps quite a bit. Getting young horses seasoned and new members, a place for them to start.
Getting new people on their horses. So let's go over the list of who should be going to a club show. Maybe a person who's brand new.
Oh, sure.
Who wants to be in a more comfortable learning environment with a little bit less pressure. What about an amateur who wants to practice on their practice horse?
Yeah, that we have that happen quite often. We've actually produced quite a few of these shows in the Midwest, and that's what happens. The amateurs that show here, they'll ride their practice horse, so they can go get some herd time, make some more cuts, and that kind of thing.
Now, for an amateur who's coming to a show like this, maybe their trainer doesn't want to go. Is there going to be a trainer here to help them?
Yeah, there's usually at least 4 or 5 or 6 guys coming to get some young horses seasoned and season some customers that haven't had enough showing time as well.
What about a young trainer who wants to get a little bit of show experience, right? They're kind of in and out of the pen. They're in that spot in their career. They've shown a little bit. Maybe they need some work.
Yeah, I think that is, you make a good point. Some of the assistant trainers, we encourage that as well. And we'll have a few of those come from time to time. And they'll bring some horses that maybe the head trainer, hey, we're taking the weekend off this weekend. And he'll send that assistant trainer, maybe a couple horses or even a customer, and hey, you guys go get them horses shown. It's a little cheaper. And then those guys can go get experience showing and helping, which helps on their learning process too, and become better showmen and see them on the other side.
Exactly.
So.
And why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Scott McKinsey and my wife Marcia, and we have 3 sons, Aaron, Matthew, and Luke. And everybody has worked and does every part on the facility, and the boys are really good help. My wife is very crucial to the business. She's with me every day.
You can't do it alone.
Cannot do it alone.
It's also recognized the ultimate team is a woman and a man.
That's right. She turns back and does a lot of stuff for us, social media wise, and horse wise, and horse health wise, and stuff like that. It's very critical part of the business as well. So
let's talk for a minute, maybe about the genesis of the Challenger Series. You say it came from the grassroots.
Yeah, ironically enough, I was on the grassroots committee with NCHA when we at the convention level.
And what year was that?
Oh boy.
Was this 2013? 2012?
Yeah, maybe somewhere in there. Yeah. Well, NCHA went through a restructuring in the governance and in some of the show rule book stuff, and did some house cleaning and some of the wordage in there. So we had, for a long time, had NCHA jackpot cuttings all across the country for decades. And And so they kind of took them away, and when they did, then you only had championship shows. So there wasn't any place for the jackpot cutting. And after a short period of time, they go, oh, we kind of left a hole here.
Yeah.
And that's when they came back and started, got with some of the producers that had been putting on some jackpot shows and find out what their best practices were. And that's where we came with the grassroots cuttings. And then it kind of stemmed a little bit from there, and then it got named the Challenger Series when NCHA come out with the rules for it. And there are lesson rules for it, a little less regulation and stuff. We've added some back.
But in that less regulation, that's to make it easier for different producers across the country.
Yeah, you may not have to even need an open cutting or non-pro cutting in certain parts of the country. So it made it a lot easier for you to get what you need in your area. I've judged some shows in central Manitoba, and there's not a trainer there. They don't have a trained horse trainer.
Not one?
Not a single.
But they still have a
trainer.
show?
So it's a group of non-pros.
Oh, I thought at least having one show, one trainer was key to having a show or a club.
No, so they're all non-pros and amateurs, and they ride their own horses, or they'll buy horses from down here, and most of them all have come from down here, and they have their horses there, and they'll have a show, and they'll go to different ranches. Sometimes they'll rent a facility, and they'll truck cattle in, and they'll have a show, and they'll have a 2-day show, and they help each other. They each have a turnback horse. They got show horses, and they'll go at it. So this would help benefit them if they wanted to go that way. And just other places are. We've used this series also in different areas in the upper Midwest and over on the East Coast, where we'll go in and have maybe a 2 or 3 day clinic. And then you end the Sunday afternoon with a Challenger show, and maybe only have 3 amateur classes.
Okay.
So you can have a Challenger show with 1 class, or you can have the whole slate of classes. You can even add your club classes to it.
Is that a two-handed or a ranch horse class?
It's kind of what you want to make up.
Yeah.
So that way, you still have to have 3 horses in the class to make a class. And it's judged, and then you can kind of curtail it to fit your needs. I always joke with Linda, and I tell her I'm going to make up a blue shirt class, and she goes, "What does that mean?" I said, "You have to wear a blue shirt." So there you go.
What about requirements on your mount?
So the ownership rules still apply.
Oh, you have to own the blue shirt?
Yeah, I think so. But what I did this several years ago to try to encourage in the area we were in. There was some guys doing ranch horse versatility and ring cow horse, and they needed a place to go seasoned as well.
Yes. So
that's where I came out with the 2-handed ranch open and 2-handed ranch non-pro, and then we'll also have the 1,000 novice horse. Mm-hmm. So that horse that says out of the 4-year-old, but you've only got a couple of checks on him, and he was real green.
Yeah.
Then he's still that where he's really not seasoned enough to go compete in the 5,000 novice.
Have you added any classes to this one?
We'll have the 1,000 novice horse, and then we'll have both the ranch open and ranch non-pro as well. So. Sometimes those will have quite a few entries in them in the ranch classes.
Oh, I think they're fun classes. I mean, that's how you get people who don't have a finished horse or haven't even shown a horse before. You get them in those classes, and they can see for themselves what the next step is, if that makes sense, or get a little bit of inspiration to take the next step.
Yeah, I've had some horses in the past that they're just have a lot of anxiety. So it's like when you ride them they work fine all the time else, but when you ride them to the herd in a show, they get real worried about stuff. And so I'll go put them in that two-handed ranch open and just go help them through. And you usually see by the second cow you cut that they relax a little bit. And sometimes by the second or third show, you can put your hand down and they're ready to go show now. And you try to make up stuff and get them seasoned, and you can't replace that show around.
No, you can't replicate it with the pressure.
No. With the judge there and just a little bit of more anxiety, or the adrenaline's running a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say usually everyone relaxes by their second cow.
Yeah. And the horses will do the same thing.
I mean, it sounds perfect for me. But I'm gonna hit this part out.
Yeah. No, that's good. Growing up in the Midwest, we had a lot of there were NCHA approved jackpot cuttings, and they might have them one day in one town and one day in the next town that were close by, and maybe at a little fair. And these shows kind of bring back that feeling to me of everybody it was a fun deal. Everybody was kind of in it for the enjoyment of the horse and the cow and what you could come together and what you could do there.
Right.
And that's really brought that back to me. And same thing a lot of
rather
other
than
people.
focused on so much money and winning.
That's right. That's right.
Get back a little more fun.
We try to keep it to where it is budget minded, and you can have 3 cows or 2.5 cows in 2.5 minutes, like any other normal cutting.
Yes.
But also with this program, you can also run a 2-minute clock. And when you do that, then you have 2 cows per horse. The benefit to that, in my mind, is when you ride to the herd, you know you have 2 cows.
Yeah, well, I've seen the AQHA does that in some classes. I think
And the range versatility.
Yeah.
Yep. The difference is you have to stay working until the time goes at the NCHA show. And the AQHA ranch versatility cutting, after you've cut your second cow, you can quit at any time.
Okay.
And we have to stay to the clock.
You've got me, well, I had a thought. So we talked about who should be coming to this show. Amateurs whose maybe trainer doesn't want to come, people who are practicing their B horse. We got young trainers, right?
Yeah.
But what about a VRH trainer or a cow horse trainer? Somebody learning. They should be coming to these classes that you're talking about.
Oh, sure, of course. I mean, that's the reason that we try to offer that to anybody. I'm not going to exclude anybody. We've seen so much growth in the last decade or two in team pinning and sorting as well. And that's there's where a lot of horses have gone, and the people going, man, I just didn't feel welcome to come to a cutting. I said, well,
No,
you're always going to be welcome to come to one of these.
It felt a little like exclusive.
Yeah.
Is what they've told me,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, team penning has grown, especially where I'm from, because you can be an electrician, make good money, and you can have a $10,000 horse, and you can just go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to make this to where we can include everybody. I'm not going to exclude anyone. If they want to come, we'll figure out a way where they can go cut.
Make it happen. Anything else you want to add? You got a show coming on Saturday.
We have a show coming on Saturday. We're working towards planning the next show in June as well.
Here's something. If you're an amateur out there, right, and you need to be riding your horse now if there's a show next Saturday, at least getting the leg up.
Yeah.
Could they haul in for a lesson or two with you?
Yes, we do. We have
the show?
haul-in lessons. We do during the day or in the evening after work.
You're a horse trainer. You never stop working.
We don't, but we do a lot of the lessons in the evening.
Yeah.
And here at the barn, we have fans overhead, and we have a really good cattle supply. And I'd like to really get going again is having a Thursday night practice. Mm-hmm. And that way it takes a little bit, you have a group, it takes a little bit of anxiety away of going,
regular group practice. 6 or 8 people could come in here, get comfortable on a Thursday after Thursday, you go have a show, they're going to show so much better.
Yeah. And so that works real well. And we have an indoor arena, of course, and then we also have an outdoor pen as well, where we can go out and work flag and you know, I think it always helps when you have somebody else you can relax, visit with, and so it's a really good time. I mean, there's nothing better than riding a cutting horse, so it's a lot of fun.
It's a little addictive. Well, I'm Patrick Priest for Performance Horse Central.
Scott McKinsey, McKinsey Cutting Horses.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you.